Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.
Namaste, Konnichiwa. Welcome to the Nupur Show. And today, a very different guest we have and very special from another country. Definitely, he's an Indian or Indian origin, but he's in Denmark. And he's an artist, Mr. Burman, Mr. Satyadev Burman. And as you can, can by name suggest that he should be into spiritual world. Of course, he is in, and he's into art. He's one of my favorite artists, and I'm so honored that he's talking to me today. Welcome to the Nupur Show.
Thank you so much, Nupur. It's an absolute pleasure and honor. Thank you so much for taking this time.
Thank you. Actually, seeing you, like your face, it says that, I am just losing words, that you are into deep meditation all the time. So we would love to know that your art, what you create, what is the secret? Like, is it the spirituality of those beautiful creation or something else?
Oh, wow. Well, just before we started recording the interview, we were just talking about awareness and everything, right? Being present with everything. And like I was saying, one of the things that I try to live by is there's a fly on my head. Yeah, I have to be very aware of that fly too.
Yes.
So it says how you do anything is how you do everything in life. I truly believe that. And the older I'm getting more and more established in that thinking, that everything demands your awareness. Everything demands presence. Everything. How you wash your rice, how you fold your clothes, how you talk to your children, how you drive, how you greet a stranger, how you write, how you paint, how you pray, how you meditate. Everything is like, it's the one and the same thing, it's coming from the place of witnessing. And this is, I think, one of the spirituality in practice is about this witnessing, about this objective viewing of everything that you do. See, the art thing came very funnily, but I was not into painting. I painted as a child. My mother was good. She used to, I remember in the evenings, there were neighborhood kids used to come to our house, and she used to have these little painting classes for them. So my foundation is from there. But then I haven't touched a brush in like 30 years probably. During COVID, this is very interesting how life unfolds. During COVID, I got quite sick actually. Like the whole family got it, but everybody was okay in 3-4 days. I was down for 1.5, 2 months. And my lungs had completely packed up. I had very difficulty in breathing, and I was coughing. It was hurting. So I'm also a musician. I don't know whether you're aware of that. I play a lot of music. I've been writing music, producing for many, many years. And that's the heart of what I do. Yeah. And obviously, I was in no position to sing and or perform concerts. I just had no energy. So I was sitting at home, also enjoying the weather, and things were in lockdown and everything. And slowly, things started opening up. Some more concerts were coming my way, and I just had to cancel one and then another one and another one because I was not ready. But I had all this creative energy in me because that is who you are, and I have to fiddle with things. I have to create something. I have to open up things, and I have to put them back again. I have to build something. So here we live in Denmark, so I'm building things in the garden. And I was like, I need to use my energy for something. Randomly, I just started painting 1 or 2 small pictures and started sending them to friends, and friends were very encouraging and everything. And they were like, oh, we didn't know you could paint. I said, neither did I, but now it's coming. It seems that I have it inside me. So no technique, nothing, just started painting. And of course, I realized the moment I started painting, the subject of my paintings immediately started reflecting my spiritual journey, which has been there for many, many years. And I was like, wow, of course, it is an expression of who I am. That is what art is, right? Art is an expression of your authenticity, of who you truly are. And so you can't fake that. Of course, you can fake that. I mean, there are people who are doing all kinds of things. But if you want to keep it true, if you want to keep it close to your heart, then it'll just be a natural expression. So I'm not surprised now when I look at the volume of work that has come out over the last 3, 4 years, I can see that there is a red thread that is connecting the art. There is a spiritual undertone in everything. I think a simple way of putting it would be I am trying to draw myself and the viewer into silence through the art. So that is where the connection fundamentally is.
So did it surprise you? Definitely, as you said, that yes, neither you also realized that you could paint. So, like, was it really? Have you ever thought in silence or quiet place, like, really? Is it happening to me? Like I'm creating art which actually I never knew about it. Like how was the feeling thinking of that?
Every day I reflect on this. I'm not kidding you. Every night I step out after the kids have gone to bed and the kitchen has been cleaned. I step out. We have this big walnut tree behind the kitchen door in the yard, so I can see it
Wow.
right now. And it's a very generous big old walnut tree. So sometimes I step out and I just take a few moments just to breathe and just look at the sky because sometimes you have beautiful stars and it's a perfect spot. You can see the moon from behind. And two things I do, I think. One is I automatically end up giving thanks. We talk a lot about gratitude and all, these days that everybody's doing gratitude journals and giving thanks to life.
People
Yeah,
just
but
talk about that. They don't talk about consciously. People say it because it's a
yeah,
fashion.
yeah,
It's a fashion, you know?
yeah, it's a fashion. Yeah, it's a fad. But also, I mean, if some of it gets established, it's great. It's a good way
True,
to live
true,
life, right?
true.
So I automatically end up just like looking at the house and like, wow. I mean, here I am, and this you will relate to, Nupur. Imagine you also come from our home state is West Bengal. Imagine 20 years ago, and imagine now. Where are you? How did all this happen? And then you have to give thanks, and you have to just say like, this is grace. That I know where are we? I mean, who would have thought I would be sitting in Denmark, in the countryside, standing under the walnut tree in a big farm? I'm this guy from Lake Gardens, Kolkata. And so life takes you in places you can't imagine. So I just stand there and I give thanks to the life that we have, the quality of the silence, the goodness, the richness of life that we have, and the house and the land and the birds and the trees and all the fruit. There's abundance. Nature is so abundant. And then I take a moment and I think, wow, this art thing that is happening. How? How? I'm envisioning something and I'm being able to manifest it on paper, on canvas. And I'm still in awe. Every single day, I'm looking at some of the work and I'm like, not bad. This is, I'm just talking to myself only. So this is pure grace, Nupur. This is nothing else. This is grace. There's some old karma there. This had to happen, like you were
This
saying.
is not bad. They're amazing. Actually,
Thank
they're
you. Thank you.
amazing.
And that's very kind of you. And sometimes I feel they're not that amazing, but that's okay. Art doesn't always have to be beautiful and pretty. And we get used to this thing that everybody who looks at your art will say, oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. But after a point, you're like, no, it doesn't have to be beautiful. As long as it's evoking some art's job is to evoke some emotion. If a person is not feeling beautiful inside and expressing their emotion through art at that time, it's not definitely it's not meant to evoke a beautiful emotion at the same time. It can be some, oh, your art makes me angry. Yeah, your art makes me restless. Your art, and there is art like that, right? There's a lot of art. It's
Yes.
not my way. It's not my path. I am going into a place of very I need to go into a
Settled.
very, very subtle, meditative, silent space. And also, when I work in the studio, there's beautiful music playing, or I'm chanting, or I have lovely incense in the air. I love good fragrances. So I create that space so I can also be very shanti, very relaxed, and then see what comes, see what
But
comes through.
again, beauty differs from person to person, you know?
Completely subjective. Yes,
So
completely.
what you feel it's not that beautiful, maybe to me it is really beautiful because in today's world, it is so commercial, it is so like I can relate to you like being in countryside, silence, fruits, the abundance everywhere. It's so beautiful. It's like we don't have words to be grateful to that almighty or whatever you call him or
Yeah.
her, but that's the today's world is very commercial. Like beauty, it has to be, everybody has given some name, some shape, and that is the beauty thing.
Yeah,
But
beauty is so subjective, and like
exactly,
culturally also you can see in some culture it is beautiful to have a long neck, extra long
Nick,
neck. And culture they'll
true,
be like, wrong with this person?
true,
Somebody will have big earlobes. So it's like beauty is so subjective, because it is just an experience. It is a perception.
exactly.
It's nothing through,
That's
yeah.
that's so right. Like what you are grateful for, what you explained, or I'm grateful for. Some people are not won't be grateful for that because they want some other kind of life. So
Yeah,
again,
their
it
priorities are
differs. It's yeah, it's just it's totally very subjective. Everything is. So I think your art, and that is the reason today I'm taking your interview. That is the completely when I'm a devotee of Lord Shiva, and when you know that I saw those paintings, I was like, wow, they're really, that is the, otherwise there are many artists, that was so deep, so meditative, and just
That is what
made
I'm
me,
trying to, I think, capture automatically. I don't think I'm working towards it consciously. It is just who I have become as a human being. So if I write a song, today if I try to sit down and write a song, I write music, right? I've been doing that for years. And all my music is also in that zone. Like the writing is that, the production is that. I am trying to, and that is what my natural expression is. Today, if I had to sit down and write a pretty heavy rock song about love. I mean, conventional love. I love you, you love me. If you don't love me, I don't love you. That kind of love. I don't think I'll be able to pull it off. It's just not going to come anymore. I could have pulled that
true.
off as a teenager for sure, because that's who I was that time. But we evolve, and to be able to not hold on to anything and evolve naturally the way life is carrying you. I think that is where authenticity lies, right, in a human being. That you
True.
are responding to life. You're not
Yeah.
holding on to a preconceived notion of I used to be this, therefore I have to continue like this. No, you don't eat the same food every day, you don't wear the same clothes every day. Why would you get stuck with anything, including your art? This is something that people ask also, no, what is your style? Or do you identify with a certain style? I said, like, I'm too early for me to think about that, and I don't want to get connected to any style. It's exactly like that. I wear tomorrow. I'll wear a blue jacket. So I'm not going to get locked into this red jacket my whole life. I'm not going to eat the same food every single day. I will be doing different things. So why should I express myself in the same way every single day? Why should my art be the same old expression? And I've
True.
seen, it's not a criticism, but there are some great artists who I admire as beautiful, skilled craft artists. But then I see their work, and that person has been painting boats forever. I don't know why. 30 years. Can't you express yourself through anything other than one boat? You know?
Mm.
And because something has worked, so you get caught into that fear, that, oh, if I don't
Mm.
do this, then it might not sell. People might not appreciate, and I will lose
Mm.
my identity. So this is all about the ego getting identified with something in life,
And that building an image,
And then you
I
build an
think
image around that.
commercial image,
Yeah, any
I would
image.
say.
It doesn't have to be commercial. That is why human being is constantly dancing between all these identifications. Human being
Exactly.
is not just one ego, one image. When
Yeah.
you're a father, you're playing the role of a father. You're a husband, you're playing the role of a husband. When you're a boss, you're playing the role of a boss. All roles we play.
And
We have to
who
play
who
the
is
role
the
perfectly.
best example is Lord Shiva. I think he's dancing, he's meditating, he's
The formless in so many forms. It's also amazing. Isn't it?
totally,
Totally. Yeah.
he's the best
Beautiful.
example. He's so quiet, totally
Because
in
that is the
silence.
that is the fundament of who we truly are, right? When you I notice that you use the word conscious and consciousness, and that consciousness is nothing but that the substratum of the truth of our being, right? Where
Mm,
it comes from. It is formless, it is shapeless, it is without any quality, without anything. It's just
mm,
the being, and
true.
Shiva is embodying that. But then we are human beings, and art is not formless. Art is it's very much an expression, and it is very much tangible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. What you just said, actually, it reminds me that when I most of like 21 year I have been living in Japan, and most of the time I lived with Japanese community in different parts of Japan, 7 places in Japan. And
Oh,
when I really, and I did everything. I did, it was I do represent my country. Those places there were no Indians. They didn't know much about India. The old maybe 100 years ago what India used to be. They knew. So it was my responsibility to represent India and India, to spread India. So people started calling me unofficial ambassador of India. I did dance, being Bengali, like we do everything, right?
Everything.
We dance, we paint,
It's
we
a funny
write.
thing, huh? That's what makes Bengali so unique. Everybody can sing and
Everybody.
everybody can dance and everybody can write poetry. It's an amazing culture we
It's
have.
an amazing. So I did everything, all those places. When I moved to Tokyo and came closer to Indian community, when I was doing everything, I'm a journalist. I do for many Indian big channels, big media houses. I represent them here in Japan. So everybody started asking like, what exactly you do? And I'm into yoga, directly into yoga, meditation, and all these things. So what exactly you do? So it is very difficult for me to answer. Like I do
To answer
everything.
it. Yeah. Yeah. Because, and this is very beautiful you say that because it touches something deeper, So I'm associated with different yoga schools here, also just teaching yoga, a bit of philosophy, self-inquiry, a bit of initial stages of Vedanta. And some a very common question you'll notice that comes up in yoga communities is that I'm struggling with balancing my personal life and professional life. This is a common thing, and so I always put the question back. I said, like, why are you fragmenting it? You're not a fragmented being. You're one. So why are you making all these compartments, personal life, professional? And people, you see that in business. No, this is business. This is not personal. Everything is personal. Everything is personal. Everything is it's a human interaction. It's a expression of your totality, right? So why would you want to fragment yourself? Why would you want to break yourself up into professional, personal, home, and outside, and all that? Be one thing. Be authentic. Be real. If you can maintain yourself, and if you can present yourself and conduct yourself in the same way with the queen of wherever and with the vegetable seller on the road, great. Then you have kind of you become one holistic human being.
Exactly.
So I think it's very very there's a big teaching in that, and you are balancing that. I can see that. I see that on your profile, that how many hats you're wearing and how many things you're doing, and still being Nupur, right? And just doing the work. Just keep, like, do your work without thinking of what is coming. We've been blessed with some grace. We just have to do the work.
Exactly. Exactly. And again, I would say, since we both are spiritual, like the doubt sometimes it comes, like being authentic, being real, being conscious, and because I know who I am actually. But again, there is the thing which you cannot pretend. That then you commercially, you cannot maybe achieve the you deserve.
Yeah,
They
and it's not required.
sometimes we feel that, am I really taking the right path, or really there is something. I'm not saying that I have that doubt now. I don't have, but sometimes just
I think we all have to go through that. And the clarity will only come when we have a very good, solid spiritual foundation. See, our
exactly.
tradition very clearly tells us, there are four goals to human life, Artha, Kama, Dharma, Moksha, right? So the first is survival. Everybody. And these are basic human needs. Okay. And we have Purusharthas, they're called the human needs, different from animal needs. So the first human need is survival. Anything pertaining to food, shelter, clothing. Okay, that is Artha. So once that is done, then you have room for the next one, Kama, which is desire, fulfillment of your desires. There's so many desires. You want to go and listen to a concert, you want to travel, you want to have physical desires, emotional desires, all kinds of desires. They have to be fulfilled as a human being. When you get caught in that trap, when you get completely captured by them, then the problem starts. But otherwise, Artha, Kama, both are very important. Then comes Dharma, doing something which is beyond yourself, doing greater good, coming more into the natural order of life, charity, seva, and doing good for others, punya karma. All this is good. But these three are all the outward journey of life. The highest goal is always moksha. Highest goal is always freedom. Freedom from all forms of bondage. Freedom from,
True.
not from freedom from these three things.
Mm,
Freedom from the bondage of these other three things. Freedom from,
mm,
not from the freedom of those three things, but freedom from the bondage or the slavery. So everybody wants freedom, no? So if that goal is clear in the head, then material success and all that becomes very insignificant. It becomes a
True.
very, and it's okay. Some people are meant for that. Some people in their journey, they are meant to attain material success in this lifetime. That is their karma. They have to do it. And how
Yeah.
they use the material success is also important. If they can, um,
Mm.
it's nothing more beautiful than a conscious rich person. It's difficult to find people who have attained material wealth, but whose vision is clear, whose goal is
Mm.
clear, whether they are still spiritually attuned and whether they're still working towards attaining freedom
Mm.
from this
True.
eternal circle. So we
Yeah.
have to go through this journey, and everyone is in a different stage of their journey in life. We all are. Everybody is.
So
You know?
attachment with detachment, like attachment, definitely we have to artha kama, definitely, then the dharma comes. So there is the attachment we are having. Then the next, the dharma, we have to remember that those are not who I am. I am
None of this defines who I am. None
exactly.
of this
I
defines who
think
I
since
am. My
the
material
since
success doesn't define who I am. My
so
relations
since
don't.
beginning, we have to know consciously that these are the karma I am doing. So I have to be detached from there. So I'm doing my karma, artha kama
Absolutely.
also.
And see, it would be so simple if life would be so beautiful and simple if we could be taught this early.
Hmm. Hmm.
As a child, if you're told that here you are, and this is the design of the human being. It's very simple. The masters have already gone through this thousands of years,
Hmm.
foolproof. And these are your basic goals. And if
Hmm.
you are clear from now, and then even right, this little information, if somebody told me clearly as a child that there's Artha Kama Dharma, I tell my children now, it would make my life so much easier because I would be able to see what I'm doing. I would have that objectivity that, oh, I'm just fulfilling a desire. It's okay. This is not going to give me happiness. It's going to give me a moment of joy. It's okay. But this is not the permanent happiness that I'm seeking. This car is going to make me happy for the next 5 minutes. It'll make my life convenient, but it's not going to give me happiness. This charity also that I'm doing, it's okay, but it's not going to give me permanent happiness. So that understanding, if it's there from the beginning, that none of this is giving you what you're truly seeking, which is that permanent happiness, right? Or what
Yeah.
we call, yeah, this and the spiritual traditions will start putting different words to it: consciousness, the self,
Yeah.
heart, love. What is it that we're seeking as human beings? So if
Yeah.
I'm clear about that from the beginning, then everything becomes very easy. Everything becomes life becomes extremely simple, actually. But if there's that vagueness is there, if nobody has to, if you have not reflected on this, if you have not experienced this, or if nobody has taught you this, then at age 70, 80, people are still trying to figure out who they are, what is the purpose of human life. It's already late,
True. True.
It
So
becomes a
every
little late.
single thing we have to do mindfully, even though eating also,
Hmm.
every step.
I mean, you are living in a land where that is a way of everyday life. I think mindfulness is such an essential part of being Japanese, right? And it's so beautiful how they embody that, and that's why I have so much respect for that culture. I'm a bit fascinated as a child about Japan, how everything is a beautiful marriage of form and function, and everything has a very clear purpose. It is always taking you into mindfulness. That's how you do the yoti ceremony, to how you eat your food, to everything is designed to draw you to that present moment and be perfectly one with it. How fantastic! What a deep integration that is, into
And that
everyday
is
life.
the reason they're attracting, even without much thing, they're attracting millions of tourists around the
Yeah,
world.
because nobody lives like that.
Yeah,
Nobody, nobody lives like that. But there is much to learn from them. So I will see
exactly.
you in Japan, Nupur, at some point. I have to make that trip. It's on my bucket
Definitely.
list. Yeah, it's my only
Definitely.
only only thing in my bucket list is making that trip to Japan and just
And I'm
soaking that
always here
up.
to help you, for sure.
Thank you, thank
Always.
you, thank you.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I'm sorry to disappoint you. The Japanese actually they don't know about this strength. When actually even if you the Bengali also, we don't know because we know we since childhood we
You grew up
paint,
in it,
we
yeah.
write poem. The moment you are out of your comfort zone, then you understand. Like you go to this different place, you understand who, like what you are and what your kind of civilization is, how we were raised, kind of. So these people are not really conscious. They don't know. They feel this is the way of life, and everyone does that
Yeah.
around the world.
Ghar ki murgi, dal barawat.
Totally, একদম
Yeah. Yeah, that will be
পুরোপুরি
our private joke. Yeah. Yeah, you get used to it if you are growing up in that space. But it's great that it's built in into the culture. That's what we try to do. That's what culture is. When something
True.
becomes integrated that you don't even realize that it is something unique or something special, right? And that's how
Exactly.
that's, I mean, with the kids also, the way, I mean, these days, my teacher, my spiritual teacher, Swamiji from India, Swami Sarvananda Saraswati, he was visiting and he said, you guys, in the evening, why don't you sit with the children and meditate a little bit, do an evening aarti, do a little puja, little ritual, or just put on something on, put on this Ramakrishna Mission evening aarti and just sit with it. And I'm telling you, we haven't missed a single day. 6:15, 6 o'clock, everybody's phone alarm goes off. My wife's, my children, everybody, mine. So 6 o'clock, it says Aarti. 6:15, we gather. The children have been given instructions, put on some candles in the altar, light one dhoop, some incense, and let's sit. So some days we're just watching this Aarti or listening and then going into silence. Some days we're just chanting the Gayatri mantra for 10 minutes or so, and then 10 minutes of silence. But I'm telling you that what a beautiful, profound effect it is having on everything. I'm not expecting the children to go complete Zen after that and like become like totally aware and everything. They're still children and they'll always be children. But how it is, this one little thing that we are doing in the evening is bringing the family into this conscious space to be sitting in silence, a family of four in perfect silence and stillness, without fidgeting, without any unnecessary need to talk. We don't do that anymore, right? Constant, there's noise going on. So I'm saying that that is culturing our minds, that is culturing the children. They don't have to receive big teachings right now, but just the ability to be able to sit down quietly for a few minutes.
Hmm.
It's so beautiful. We can all do it.
So you're just making the foundation. From there, they will
Yes.
have that, queries, and they will learn by
They
themselves.
will learn. They will. Yeah. I see. Children. It's very simple. I mean, and these kids are my kids are what, like they're. My wife is Danish, right? I'm living in Denmark. I'm hardcore Bengali at heart. So but they are growing up in Denmark. So I'm not imposing my identification, my identity too much on them. Okay, I'm giving them the basic human values as much as I can. I'm not trying to
Hmm.
make Bengalis out of them just because,
Hmm.
you have to learn Rabindranath Gahan and you have to learn this poetry and you have to be a baul at heart. No, it's they can't relate to it. That's not their life. They're growing up as
True.
Danish kids.
True.
But the fact that they can, before a meal, we sit and we just hold hands and we just say, Aham Vishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Deyam Ashrita. We're doing a mantra for food. Okay. So it's internalized now. They know that before we eat, we must give thanks and we must pray for the food.
Hmm. Hmm.
They haven't questioned it ever because that's
Hmm.
what they see. So with children, it's so beautiful. Monkey see, monkey do.
True.
So
Totally.
if you
Totally.
do, they will learn. If you don't do, you can't give them gyan. You can't give them advice without embodying that advice. That is the stupidest way of parenting. And
Exactly.
if you do, they will learn. If you don't do, they will not learn. Simple. You can give them as
Exactly.
much lecture. A lot of our generation grew up like that because our parents were giving us a lot of lectures, a lot of gyan. Oh, you must do this and you have to do that. But they were not doing it themselves. Focus,
Yeah.
focus, focus on your study. But you never taught me how to focus. You know,
True.
I'm not
True.
going to tell my child focus on your math, but if I don't
Be
teach
the
them how
example.
to focus, yeah, or how do you focus? Teach me how to focus then. So then you have to
Hmm.
create that environment that, okay, this is how you focus. This is how you can learn to
Hmm.
mind. This is how you
Hmm.
can understand your thought processes. So that's again awareness and action. Everything has to have that
That's so
quality.
beautiful, It's like we started with art and we're just going into the deep spirituality. I think we should just continue and with different episode because today's youth and especially, I think Indian youth, around the world also, they're quite confused and I think we should not blame. There are social media. There are, lot of comparison. Every day you see someone is doing better than you. That puts you down,
Yeah, it's not
immediately.
real. We know that it's not real. Everybody's life looks fantastic on Instagram. Yeah. Everybody's eating amazing food and going to amazing places and waking up looking like $1 million. It's not true. It's not the way. We just want people to see that side, that phase.
Exactly, exactly.
It's a
How do
very
you feel when you go to India? Do you feel any culture shock? Like because being in countryside in Denmark and
no,
like
no, no. I've grown up in that. When you should see me driving in India. I drive like total local, right? Still, when I go. Okay, so I mean, for me, I've not separated those two at all in my heart because I can,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I'm not fragmented myself, so why would I? I'm carrying that. I've grown up there. This last 17 years I've been in Denmark, but I'm basically Indian at heart. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, it doesn't, nothing comes as a culture shock anymore, and it never has actually. I've been also lucky with that because it can be quite a bit. I mean, it's two very extremely different cultures,
Extremely,
and
exactly.
two extremely different weathers and environment and climate, everything, right? Everything is different.
Yeah,
Extremely different. So, but
exactly.
if you let it get to you, then it'll get to you all the way. But if you don't let it get to you, it won't touch you, and you can just be yourself. I'm focusing on being
Exactly.
myself. You put me somewhere, I'll be myself only. So
Yeah.
India is great. I love. I go back 3, 4, 5 times a year if I can. Sometimes at least 3 times I manage to go. So
Wow,
just
three
just just
times.
yeah, just because I can, and just to meet friends and I try to make it look like I'm going for a little bit of work also. It's just to go and just meet and get a sense of India again. I just love going, reconnecting,
Yeah, that's
taking
the land
photos.
has the spirit, the India,
Yeah,
Bharat, I
yeah,
think.
absolutely, absolutely.
That,
One friend of mine, a Danish friend, once told me that no, in India, it's like spirituality is like such a low hanging cloud. You can just touch it anywhere, wherever you are. You can. There is a oh sorry, there's a I'm sorry, there's
it's
a
okay.
call coming. I don't know how I can get it. Anyway, so it's like everywhere you turn, there's a temple. Everywhere you turn, there's a photo, and the name of the shop is also reminding of God. And so India is like that. It's
Yeah,
really
so
spiritual
much
life is in your
energy
face. Yeah,
everywhere.
it's in your face,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it's be such a big nation. So of course there are all kinds of people. There are extremely deeply rooted spiritual people doing amazing inner work, and there are people who are completely caught in this fast way of life, and that's how it
True,
is. The
true.
human life has always been like that.
Yeah, it will always be like that. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
exactly.
cycle. Things come in cycles. Things
It's a
go, and
cycle, yeah.
right
It's
now we are fascinated with Instagram and all that, reels and everything.
something
Like
else
this,
will come maybe after a few years and yeah, it
it will
has to
disappear.
happen. Yeah, it will happen definitely. And it's so wonderful, talking to you. Really wonderful. And
Likewise, to meet a kindred spirit and somebody who speaks the same language of the heart, and it's wonderful, Nupur. It's
I
really.
think, I think this is just our beginning. I would love to have you more and more with the
Let's do
specific
this.
subject of
Yeah,
Gita or
yeah, we
specific
can do that.
subject. I think
Anything we
today's
can we can keep talking like this, and something good will come out. And
definitely, definitely. And
I'm
that
just
is a
happy. I'm very happy and grateful that you're doing this work. It's important work what you're doing actually. And full power to you because it takes a lot of focus and dedication, and you're just doing it. Now I'm getting to see you. Now I'm understanding where you're coming from and what this burning mission is, this invisible mission that you have, but it is there. You're doing it. It's beautiful. So good luck on that one.
thank you so much. Means a
Thank
lot,
you.
especially a person like you. I can see, your eyes, the way you are, so much energy, the spirituality reflecting. I'm
You should have
really,
seen me. You should have seen me 25 years ago, fidgeting and like.
we
It's.
all
I
are,
think
we all
I've
are.
grown up a little bit now. I've grown up a little bit now. The whites are helping. Some shampoos have
Definitely.
helped me.
So that's why there we evolve. There we
Yeah,
evolve. And this is very
absolutely.
much needed. You have to go through all the stages of life. Then you will have the moksha.
Right, that's right.
So maybe
Absolutely.
about moksha we'll be talking next time
That
for
could be a
sure.
next. Yep.
We will
Let's do that.
definitely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
You take
you.
care.
And Banglaতে বলি নমস্কার.
Ah, namaskar.
Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.